This is the December 11, 2025 Indian River Shores regular town council meeting. Before the invocation, the very next day after our last council meeting, we had a tragic event happen just north of town, resulting in the death of a deputy sheriff, Terry Sweeting Meshkow, and the death of a locksmith that was there on site with them, David Long. Let's keep them in our thoughts and prayers. And always remember, if you see a public safety officer, they're there for your safety. That's our paramount concern. It doesn't take much to thank a deputy sheriff or a police officer for putting their lives on the line for us every day. So with that, Councilman Carroll, if you could please give us the invocation.
We're thankful for this town and its residents. We're grateful for all who work for the betterment of our community and all who serve on its behalf. Let those who work here and those who serve here be ever mindful of the town's vision and mission statement. Grant this council the wisdom to govern amid the conflicting interests and issues of our times, the ability to work together in harmony, even when there is honest disagreement, a sense of the welfare and true needs of our people, personal peace in our lives, and joy in our task. Amen.
Amen. If you'll join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you, everyone. If you can call the roll, please.
Mayor Foley?
Here.
Vice Mayor Alwater?
Here.
Councilmember Carroll?
Here.
Councilmember Altieri?
Here.
Let the record show all members are present with the exception of Councilmember Dane.
All right. From council. If there are no requests, a motion and a second, please.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, unanimous. I'm sorry, I forgot to turn my mic on. I was saying comments from the public regarding agenda items, and if you have any comments regarding agenda items, that's your time to come up now. If there are none, we will move on. The consent agenda, we have a resolution, so if there's no discussion on the consent agenda, we will need a motion and a second and then a roll call vote.
So moved. Second.
Roll call vote, please. Aye.
Atwater?
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll?
Aye.
Councilmember Altieri?
Aye.
Let the record show the motion passes unanimously.
Thank you very much. That brings us to the mayor's report. And I have a couple of items today. First of all, as mentioned before the invocation, great thanks needs to go to not just the deputy sheriffs, but our own public safety department, who responded very quickly after the tragic events last month. As I mentioned, it resulted in the death of Deputy Meshkow and the locksmith that was accompanying them. And I just wanted to note that Deputy Chief Ryer, who's not here today, usually is to be commended. He was first on scene with Public Safety Officer William Gomez, Lieutenant Albert Iovino, Sergeant Skip Benham, Public Safety Officer Joseph Trevisol, Fire Medic Kenneth Lanton, Corporal James Zaremba, and Public Safety Officer Corey Harding were also on scene to assist. Again, we owe them thanks, and if you see a public safety officer, it makes sense to go out of your way to thank them, even if they pull you over. So they're just doing their job. I'll also note that last week, and Chief can deal with this, I was at a function where I learned something new about our public safety department, and in particular how well they're trained. There was a local resident who was missing from his home. They follow protocols, and they successfully located the resident. So there's a whole gamut of things that our department does for us. Again, this council's and this town's paramount interest is the safety of our residents. All right, item 2 on my report is I circulated among council what I thought was a fairly interesting article concerning the population increase. The headline of this is California loses 1 taxpayer per minute, Florida gains. They're not gaining 1 every minute, but 1 every 90 seconds. This is going to, I believe, put continued challenges to the resources and infrastructure in Florida, and it will have effect, yes, even on communities of our size. So, you know, the nature of the place is still wonderful, but it has changed, and we have to be ever vigilant to make sure that we're producing the best product for our taxpayers at the best possible price, and again, keeping people safe. So the article is available to council. I had it distributed. Water utility legislation update. I will let the town manager and the town attorney supplement this, but we are, with session approaching in January, the legislative session approaching, we have circulated among council legislative proposal essentially taking Representative Brackett's bill last year known as HB 11, making some modifications to it, and hopefully presenting that upon ears that are willing to listen in Tallahassee that will enact relief for jurisdictions such as ours who rely upon other municipalities for their water and sewer services and their reuse water services, so that we're treated fairly in price structure. And there will be a push to do that, and of course council's comments are welcome on this. I understand the town manager will schedule meetings individually with council members to do that. I wanted to also make a notation, something that has been mentioned at past meetings, but smart meters are an availability now, and I put one in my home. I'm not going to get up here and do an unpaid advertisement or endorsement for the particular device I have on, but the technology's come a long way, and it's reduced my water bill from anywhere from 50 to 70% per month. And if you find that hard to believe, I give water bills to the finance director and the town manager, and they track them over time. I've been doing this for years, so it's a pre-installation of the meter. And basically what the technology does is it doesn't just rely upon quark sensors in your old Rainbird. What it does is it takes a collection of data wirelessly about micro meteorological conditions and things I can't pronounce, and it decides whether or not to water or not water, including if it's a terribly windy day. You put your water on, guess what? Most of the water just gets blown off your lawn anyway, so it's not even worth doing it. They are available not just for single-family homes, but if you have a homeowners association or condo association that handles that for you, they have industrial meters as well. So something to think about if we want to do a little self-help on keeping prices down, particularly in the portion of the town where the city of Vero Beach provides not reuse water, but they have to use potable water for irrigation, which seems a bit of a waste to me, but that's just something we've inherited for decades. All right, real estate tax relief. January session starts. I've got nothing to update on that. There are multiple proposals going around. The various proposals we've talked about at previous meetings are in search of bill sponsors in the House and Senate, and I think 2. And it's happening every day, but as of maybe a third yesterday, there is now a Senate companion for one of the House bills. So those are moving forward. Hold your hats. It's going to be a very interesting session as the tax relief starts, particularly since the governor just announced the budget yesterday, which I think is 171 billion. Is that what it is up to? 171.5. I could have a digit transposed, but it's an enormously large budget, and again, that reflects the other item we talked about, which is the demographic change of having more and more people come to the state. It costs more. All right, lastly, I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year in case I forget to do it at the end. I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving, and I hope you weren't as panicked as I was when I realized how quickly Christmas was coming around the corner. These late Thanksgivings tend to do that. So that's it for my report. If there are any questions from council, I'm happy to answer them. All right, if there's nothing, council member items, Vice Mayor Atwater.
Well, thank you. You actually teed me up on one item with your discussion of the water. You have, each of the council members have a map here. So let me give you, I'll try to go through this pretty fast. So I think everyone on this dais knows that I've been providing a different perspective on the bond anticipation note the City of Vero Beach is doing to partially fund the new water plant. And during that discussion with the Utilities Director, Rob Bolton, I brought up that there are areas of town that would like to get reuse water that have to spend an enormous amount of money for potable water for irrigation. It's funny you brought that. We didn't talk about this in advance. So I said, is there anything we could do here? So what he provided here, first of all, was a map, and I'll go through it pretty quick. At the very north end of the town, other than Baytree, you see a blue area, which were proposed areas to be served by the Indian River County Utilities Reclaimed Water. And according to him, that never got going primarily because the pipeline running down, he quoted a figure off the top of his head of $1 million, so that didn't get done. The green section here, which is the majority of the town, is served by Johns Island Utility Reclaimed Water, and they're getting their new pipeline. So it's the yellow area down south of Johns Island, basically from this area south. The yellow area, including my community, is served by City of Vero Beach Reclaimed Water. Well, I had a discussion with him. I said, I know there's areas down below, your property is one of them, Mr. Mayor, about, people would like to get reclaimed water. And had a discussion. He says, well, with the new plant coming on board, we're going to have a better quality reclaimed water and a higher quantity, as I understood him. And I asked him, this discussion all happened yesterday. He was calling me from his car. He was coming in. I said, can you provide me a map of the areas? And so he sent us along, and he said, maybe we should start to do some planning to figure out what pipes have to be drilled. He thinks he might have a contractor that can do it pretty well, given the relationship you have to do it from a cost-efficient perspective. So what I'd sort of like to do is get a consensus to direct the town manager to reach out to Mr. Bolton and see where we can go on this to hopefully save some money for our citizens that currently don't have reclaimed water. So.
Any objection? No, I think it's terrific, great idea, and thank you for pursuing that.
Okay.
It also makes environmental sense as well. So,
Absolutely, yeah. And the second thing that I have regards the other item brought up regarding property taxes. I was at Treasure Coast Regional Planning Council meeting, and I was coming in via a Zoom type instrument. So Toby Oberdorf, who is the co-chair, he's a state house representative. He is the co-chair of the Select Committee on Property Taxes, is looking at these proposals to potentially cut property taxes. And currently, right now, there are 4 on the table. That doesn't mean that 4 or any of them will get onto the ballot for citizens to vote on. But if you, let's say hypothetically, if all 4 get on there, I would argue some of them are in conflict with each other. Some says get rid of all taxes, some get taxes over 65, some say homestead. So when I've been up in Orlando, I was at the Florida League of City conference. There was a taxation and a finance and taxation policy committee that I joined, and I asked the question, what happens if all 4 get on there and all 4 are voted by citizens? Because I could see a situation where someone say, well, I like 1 better than 3 or 2 better than 4. but I want to get my taxes lower. I'm just going to vote for all 4 of them. And they're in conflict with each other. So I asked Chairman Oberdorf, I said, what happens in that case when conflict on? And he basically had pretty much a 2-word answer. He said, obviously, number 1, the number 1 of the 4, which has been going through the legislature. So I just thought I would pass it along because nobody else has been able to answer that question. I mentioned it to our town attorney. I don't know if you want to make any comment on that. I just told him a half hour ago, so, and didn't ask him to do any research, but if you want to give
Mr.
any
Mayor,
reaction.
Council. Yes, I had a similar reaction when Vice Mayor mentioned it to me. As I see them right now, the 4 that are listed with the proposals are the total elimination of non-school property taxes, the next being expanded homestead exemption for insured homes, then the next being exemption for seniors, then the last one being transferable Save Our Homes benefit. My only guess is that if all 4 passed, because the first one, Vice Mayor, Council, says elimination of all non-school property taxes, it would inherently include an increase. You wouldn't need a homestead exemption anymore because there would be no property taxes. Okay. With that said, these are constitutional amendments and require implementing legislation. So how that all unwinds is yet to be determined.
Okay. So that's it for me.
All right, thank you. Their approach to this kind of reminds me of like being a kid and going out to dinner and ordering everything on the menu because you didn't know what you wanted, and then your parents had to tell you pick one. So we'll see. I'm optimistic, but not certain that this will potentially get reconciled and narrowed before they go out of the session. But the bottom line is, I think this session is going to be heavily dominated by this issue. So we've got our work cut out for us as municipal elected officials trying to get the legislature's attention on other items sorely in need of being addressed. So we're going to have to be very choiceful. I know League of Cities, with whom I disagree on a number of issues substantively, but they are advocates for municipalities and local council, local governments are mindful of that if you go in with too much, you come away with nothing. So we have to be very choiceful in terms of the items that we're going to push. I do think some of the good stuff, though, in the budget is, the governor seems to be taking seriously compensation for teachers and some of the items that come up year after year in the legislature. So if that gets dealt with in the budget process, I think it becomes less of a drain on the legislative resources but time will tell. We'll find out January 11th. Is that when they start? Yeah, January 11th. Okay. Thank you for your report. Councilman Altieri, do you have anything? Do you have any items?
I do.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Committee reports?
Sure, you'll defer to committee reports, that's fine. Councilman Carroll, all set? Okay, great. Item 8, discussion with possible or probable action. Item 8A is the adoption of ordinance number 585, and it's a minor modification to approve site plans. This is the second reading. At our first reading, we did a fairly lengthy description of what it was about through the town attorney and the town manager. So if you can kindly read the title, and as I call it, the magic language, to make sure that we fulfill the technical requirements for passing of the ordinance. Mr. Town Attorney.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. This is ordinance number 585, an ordinance of the Town of Indian River Shores, Florida, a municipal corporation amending section 168.01 site plan development process F, minor modification of approved site plans 1 through 6, providing for a business impact estimate, providing for severability, providing for codification, providing for conflicts, providing for scrivener's errors, and providing for an effective date. This is the second reading.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion? If there's no discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Mayor Foley?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Atwater?
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll?
Aye.
Councilmember Altieri?
Aye.
Let the record show the motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Item 8B, adoption of ordinance number 586, certified recovery residence procedures. Again, this is a second reading. This has a scary title to some people, but as we know, it's basically an unfunded mandate from the legislature, likely not going to have much, if any, applicability to this community, but we have to do it because that's what we're required to do. It is a second reading. If you can kindly, Mr. Town Attorney, read the title and the technical requirements in order to adopt the ordinance.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. This is number ordinance 586, an ordinance of the Town of Indian Resource, Florida, a municipal corporation, amending the Town Code of Ordinances at Chapter 161, Section 161.14, supplemental regulations to include reasonable accommodation requests in housing, including such requests from certified recovery residences as required by Florida Statute Section 397.487, providing that each and every other section and subsection of Chapter 161 supplemental regulations zoning shall remain in full force and effect as previously adopted, providing for a business impact estimate, providing for severability, providing for codification, providing for conflicts, providing for scrivener's errors, and providing for an effective date. This is the second reading. Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion on the motion? If not, a roll call vote, please.
Mayor Foley?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Alwater?
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll?
Aye.
Councilmember Altieri?
Aye.
Let the record show the motion passes unanimously.
Okay, staff updates, building official report and statistics. Mr. Held has an excused absence. We have his report. If there are no questions to be directed on the basis of the report, which would be answered by the town manager, we'll rely on the papers, as they say in court. Any questions about that? All right, thank you. I'll just note, we continue to be busy in town. A lot of renovation and stuff going on. Code enforcement, Mr. Mike Kranz, again, has an excused absence as well. He's not feeling well. We have a full report on code enforcement. There's an uptick, obviously, in activity when season kicks in. As with item 9A, if there are no questions regarding the code enforcement report or issues to be directed to Mr. Mike Kranz through the town manager, we can move on. Anything on code enforcement? No? Okay, good. Public Works Department, same drill. He's out in the field. So we've got, oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were out in the field taking care of some signs about a Bowl-O-Rama at the golf studio or something like that. So, so if you'd like to report on what's going on, my apologies.
I have nothing to add. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. That's the most succinct report I think we've ever seen, so very good. Thank you, and keep up the good work, Max. Public Safety Department report and statistics. Chief?
Good morning. Besides the information we provided, we continue to aggressively enforce the school bus issues that we've had with people trying to pass school buses when they have their crossing guards out and those types of things. So that's been very effective with us trying to stop that. And we actually received a complaint about 2 months ago from a school bus driver that it was occurring in town. So we've aggressively started working that during the load and unload times that we have for the school buses coming through. Also, you'll see a spike in calls for service. Not necessarily is it a call for service, but it's an activity issue that has increased, and we've started documenting all of our close patrols a little tighter. So we have complaints in condominiums where we have we swing by there a couple times a night, or we're doing some additional patrols within an area. We're actually starting to document that a little bit better, so we have a better database capture. I'm also happy to report that we've got both of our ambulances back yesterday, the day before yesterday, and we returned the unit that we had borrowed from the county. So we're back up in service with both of our units. And we did have a problem with one of our engines, with our engine, and we repaired that in-house, and that's back up and running and back in service also. So I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Anything for the chief?
Yeah, maybe you partially addressed it there. I had mentioned the town manager, the jump in fire and rescue calls in October and November. Is that related to this different way we account for things, or?
No, not for fire and EMS. That was all law enforcement that we're starting to capture those things.
All right.
The increase basically is just that our northern residents came back earlier this year.
Okay.
And that's actually increased that, and with all the renovations that are going on and all the activity that's going on with stuff in town, and the buffer areas on each side of town for the fire side, setting off alarms right and left. But we still have to respond to those, and although we reduce that response posture, because we know it's an alarm and we've been there a couple times, we still have to go send a unit out and do the report and make sure there's nothing going on.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chief. I neglected to mention during my report, but for those who want to make a contribution to the Fallen Deputies Fund, she had one child and two stepchildren, I think, and to the family of the locksmith. I think we determined that the best way is the Sheriff's Department actually has a link at its website, and so I, without objection from other folks on council, if we could include that in our notification to residents, because I have been asking, pardon me, I have been asked what's the best way for us to help out or to make a contribution. So without objection, if we could include that in our weekly email. All right? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Chief. Town Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just one brief update related to overall the Indian River County. The county submitted an update to their comprehensive plan, much like all of us are required to do every several years. This occurred back in the earlier part of this year. It has to be transmitted to the state, and when it's transmitted to the state, it's reviewed for any conflicts or suggestions. I understand that they have received it back or are in the process of receiving it back very soon. The reason I bring it up is there were actually two provisions that the state Department of Commerce suggested should be removed. They were in conflict because they were more restrictive, and as we've seen with the BIEs and other provisions from the state, there's a clear directive to reduce any type of impediments to business or development restrictions, seemingly so. So it's my understanding that those two have been requested to be removed, and I believe it's going to be teed up for the county's review either at the very end of this month or the beginning of January for review and approval. Again, as part of Indian River County, it's binding outside of our jurisdiction, but it's most important for me to mention that the state continues to look at these provisions, as we've seen. If anywhere is becoming more restrictive, they appear to be taking a keen eye to that. So I just simply mention it as we continue to talk about unfunded mandates and proposals. That's my report, and I'm happy to answer any other questions.
Yeah, just one question on that, and not to give everybody a headache this early in the morning by getting too legal, but so Indian River County is a non-charter county.
Correct.
So do we have more flexibility as a non-charter county to
Yes.
politely ignore the suggestions from the bureaucrats in Tallahassee?
As far as our dynamic between us being a county versus a charter versus non-charter, and a charter county would automatically be binding, generally speaking, on us as municipalities unless we had an exception. But as a non-charter, we're more independent. I would agree with that.
Okay, so let's keep a close tabs on
Yes, sir.
that, and let's keep council, all of us up here, closely apprised of what it is, so that if we need to do something with our comprehensive plan that may be in conflict with how the county deals with those suggestions, we're aware of it. We can make those decisions as a collegial group.
Yeah, I mean, Vice Mayor's provision earlier of that map showing 3 different agencies that provide water within our general jurisdiction kind of highlights the point, so I'll be happy to do that.
All right, thank you very much. Anything else for the town attorney? Okay, town manager report.
I have nothing additional. Happy to answer any questions.
I think we hit a new first again, so that's terrific. Yes, Mr. Alwer.
Just an update on getting the insurance proceeds on our burned down ambulance.
We have a internal meeting to finalize that and then complete whatever paperwork is required, i.e. Power of attorney and so on and so forth. I anticipate that, well, our meeting is tomorrow, as a matter of fact, on that internally, and hopefully we can just get that wrapped up by next week.
Excellent. Okay, thank you.
All right, terrific. Thank you very much. Council committee reports and non-action items. We're going to move to that. I understand our representative to the Bicycle Pedestrian Metropolitan Planning Organization is in attendance. Is that correct? So and it's Dana Diffenbach, is that right? Okay, thank you. If we didn't thank you for doing this before, thank you for doing it. It's a good job and a big job, so thank you. Just wanted to give you that recognition. All right, call for committee reports. Let's start from right to left. Councilman Altieri.
Thank you. The Utilities Commission met on December 2nd and spoke largely about the City of Vero Beach Water Reclamation Facility. That is a facility and a project that we have followed very, very closely, seems like for years. It's a constant subject that we weigh in on. It's a project that's gone from the abstract to the real. It is now a project that is under construction. We had a very, very good meeting at the Utilities Commission. It was led by two representatives from the Water and Sewer Group, Rob Bolton, who's the Water and Sewer Director, Will Taub, who is a Water and Sewer Specialist. And I've made available to each council members and mayor 3 reports. One is the City of Vero Beach Water Reclamation Facilities Utility Commission update. It's a handy document because it gives you an overview of what the history of the project was, what the current state is, and has some decks that show some of the progress with photographs of the construction that's going on. The other is a Utilities Commission financing update, which brings us up to date on exactly what's going on with respect to the financing. And finally, the third is a deck that has to do with the City of Vero Beach Stormwater Pipeline Irrigation Project, which was a P3 public-private and public-private partnership between City of Vero Beach and Johns Island that now is come to fruition, and it is actually it's going to turn out to be a very, very successful P3 project. But coming back to the water reclamation facility, most of the discussion had to do with financing, the current state of the financing, and essentially what's happening is that the city council met, I think, on Thursday to approve the 2-year bond anticipation note, and that's designed basically as bridge financing to get the city through this period and all of 2026. The current cost of the project is now $164 million. There's an $11 million contingency on top of that. They don't believe that they're going to have to tap into that contingency, but the financing is now based upon a project that has a total cost of $164 million. The first year, so 2026, will be funded. They have to spend $26 million of matching funds to meet $26 million of grants. So this BAN is essentially designed to help them get through that first period. And then in 2027, the bond will be executed, and that bond, I think, is going to be for approximately, the principal amount of the bond is going to be, bonds will be $125 million. And I think that's for, I'm not quite sure what the payoff period on that is, but I think it's...
They haven't determined that.
Yeah. Let's see what else we've got here. The other open issue is the rate study. The city has retained Reptelis as their, Reptelis is a registered municipal advisor, and they're doing a rate analysis. The first time that they gave any passing consideration to a rate analysis was when the project cost was estimated to be $108 million. It's now, as I mentioned, $164 million. They expect to have a rate ordinance finished by October of 2026. So we will not know, to those who haven't followed this, this is important to us because we are a customer of the city's water system. How all of this is going to run through the system and affect rates, we're really not going to have a clear picture of that until the end of 2026. But in any event, the presentation that was done last week was very, very well done by both Rob and Will. Gave a shout out to Vice Mayor Atwater again. That's 2 meetings in a row. Very thankful for your assistance in terms of the bond analysis. But the project, if you haven't been out by the airport, you can now see the project in motion. And it's probably, I think the duration of the construction is going to be a period of about 2 or 3 years. So that's the report.
With financing, what's the best guess, total cost of the project?
I would think if I do a 25 or 30-year bond, you're looking at doubling the amount that Councilman Altieri mentioned, minus any grants. They're hopeful, I think, that they think they might get some more grants. Is that what they've been telling you? So I don't know.
300?
250, 275 total.
Is the cost of the financing?
Well, you got 125
Yeah.
million estimated bond, right?
Right.
So roughly double that
Okay,
over a
understand.
30-year period, based on the models that I've done, maybe a little less than that.
Okay.
But
No,
I haven't updated them a little bit. Interest rates have been about the same. So.
I understand.
Yeah.
So subtracting the grant, I got it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. The committees I had were canceled due to the legislative session being in January. The advocacy groups for the various local government committees were doing that job as opposed to it. So the next meeting is in January, so we don't have a report for any of my committees. Vice Mayor?
Beach and Shores was canceled. We thought there was a suggestion doing a meeting on the beach until I pointed out there probably might be some sunshine law issues with that, so they kind of shot that thing down. We had the MP.
And you don't mean sunshine on the beach, you mean?
Yes, exactly. Yes, sunshine is going to jail, not having sunshine. Then we also had MPO yesterday approved the updated transportation plan, which is done every 5 years. I brought in before the projects that were going to be looked at. The key one to us is the Route 510 being revamped, but you're probably looking not to get that done till probably close to 2030 to 2032, unfortunately. So other than that, that's it for me. So.
Great. Just one question, not to put you on the spot. The reviews are very, very positive about the crosswalk coming in towards 7-Eleven, so thank you for that. The other.
Let's hope it gets done.
Okay.
They're talking late summer.
Well, it was in 32963, so it has to be true. So the other question I was getting, and this relates to, again, these are seasonal concerns about traffic buildup. Since the tornado, it was noticed that the light and pedestrian crosswalk up by the church,
yes,
south of town,
right,
has not been replaced. Is MPO taking a position on whether it should be replaced? They're just going to leave it the way it is?
It never comes up. I'll bring it up with Chris Cares at FDOT. It was sort of like the flashing yellow lights for the school.
Correct.
It flew under the radar screen that they had got knocked down by the tornado. They sat there for weeks until I called them up, and then suddenly they got done. So, but Chris Cares from the Fort Pierce FDOT office is very responsive, and he's been very helpful with me on the crosswalk. So I'll give him a call.
Okay, thank you. Call to the audience. Oh, sorry, Vice. Nothing. Councilman Carroll, call to the audience. This is the opportunity for people in the audience if they have anything on their mind, or in some cases nothing on their mind at all, but they still want to speak. This is your time to come up. Nothing? All right. We will Again, wish everybody a great, happy holiday season and a safe, happy holiday season. We will see you in January. The date of our January meeting, please remind me, is? 22nd. January 22. So we have a little bit of a breather between the next meeting. Thank you, everyone. Have a very pleasant day, and thank you to council for your time and attention. So we are adjourned.